Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your SmackDown 205 live results. Birthdays for the 8th of May. Tommaso Ciampa, he was born 1985. And on the 9th, Bastion Booger, he was born 1957. On May the 8th, former WWE star Big Bully Busick passed away at the age of 63. Busick passed away in Riverton, West Virginia. Busick, who has been battling numerous health issues since 2005, was diagnosed with spinal fluid cancer last year and had been under hospice care in West Virginia as of late. His wife noted on Facebook that he passed away with his family at his side. His son, Branko Busick, recently made his pro MMA debut for Bellator and currently has a record of 1-1. Huh. That's a better record than CM Punk. WWE remembered Busick with the following post on their website. Nick Billy Busick passed away. Former WWE superstar Nick Big Bully Busick has passed away at the age of 63. WWE is saddened to learn. A notorious in-ring villain known for his signature derby and mustache, Busick battled superstars like Bret the Hitman Hart, Sid Justice, and the British Bulldog in the early 1990s. WWE extends its condolences to the Busick family, as well as I do myself, family and friends and fans. And as a memorial, you can view these links for his matches. He's got an open challenge where he was on the mic challenging any wrestler. He also had a match with Bret the Hitman Hart, Sid Justice. Also, Davey Boy Smith, British Bulldog. Again, I'll post some links for you there. WWE announced a left shoulder injury for Alexa Bliss suffered during Raw Women's Championship match on Sunday's pay-per-view. Bliss appeared in a backstage promo on Monday's Raw, but did not wrestle. Jax took to Twitter on Tuesday to respond to a fan that called her an unsafe worker and noted that Bliss is still scheduled for the European tour this week, and she's fine. You can hear the exchange, and Bliss responded to the Twitter fan at 01DDUN or 01DDUN. Did you see that unsafe worker at Nia Jax? WWE has injured the goddess at Alexa Bliss _ WWE. Sasha, Asuka, Charlotte first, and now the queen of women's wrestling at AGB in UFC. Well, Elena Fanine, Nia Jax's real name, and her Twitter account, Nia Jax WWE. Ha! If you haven't heard, Alexa is perfectly fine. You couldn't beat me in the ring, so she blamed it on. She couldn't beat me in the ring, so she blamed it on a fake injury. Trust me, she is perfectly fine. She's scheduled to be on tour, so you and all your troll friends can come worship your coward goddess. Next week, WWE SmackDown from London will feature a royal celebration from SmackDown's Women's Champion Carmella. The Blue Brand debuts of Andre Cien Almas and Zelina Vega, plus a Money in the Bank qualifying match with the New Day versus The Bar. The winning team will get to pick which member goes into the Money in the Bank ladder match. So they're putting tag team members in the Money in the Bank. I guess just to fill some spots. Carmella hyped her royal celebration in a backstage video at this link. Rusev, Miz, Charlotte Flair are now official for the June 17th Money in the Bank ladder matches at Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Rusev defeated Daniel Bryan in tonight's main event, while The Miz defeated WWE US Champion Jeff Hardy, and Flair defeated Peyton Royce to qualify. Well, I gave you a quick smarter on SmackDown already. Men's Money in the Bank match will now have Miz, Rusev, Braun Strowman, and Finn Balor confirmed. There will be 2 more Raw superstars and 2 more SmackDown superstars added to the match next week. The women's match now has Flair and Ember Moon as confirmed participants. There will be 3 female superstars from each brand added to the match. Tonight's SmackDown saw Xavier Woods lose to Cesaro in a singles action just 1 week after Woods defeated Sheamus. As seen in this, I'll show you a picture here. Woods noted on Twitter that he suffered a hole in his tongue during the loss to Cesaro. It's worth noting that WWE tweeted a photo of blood coming out of Woods' mouth. And Xavier tweeted, "Losing sucks. There's now a hole in my tongue. Good night." Charlotte Flair will be undergoing surgery to repair a ruptured breast implant soon. According to PW Insider, there's no confirmation of when the operation might take place, but one source speculated that Flair will help hold off until after the tour of Europe that is kicking off this week. Flair defeated Peyton Royce on SmackDown to qualify for the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match that will take place at the June 17th Money in the Bank pay-per-view. There's no word yet on if she will be missing any ring time due to the rupture. The Ace Comic-Con announced today that Flair will not be able to appear at their event in Seattle on the weekend of June 22nd, just a few days after Money in the Bank. SmackDown Women's Champion Carmella is being sent to replace her. So that might be the time that she is going to be out of action. Former world champion Big Van Vader noted on Twitter that he underwent another heart operation earlier this week. He also stated and said he's hoping to get medically cleared to wrestle again here soon. The latest operation comes after the Mastodon underwent open heart surgery back in late March. He tweeted the following on the latest procedure. It's Vader time. Yesterday I had surgery on my heart. My heart had shifted to an AFib, a regulator heart. A heartbeat. A person in a AFib has substantially increased chance of heart attack and stroke. The surgery was to put the heart in normal sinus rhythm. It was a success. Dark match before SmackDown from the Royal Farms Arena in Baltimore saw Asuka defeat Sonya Deville. Correspondents wrote, "One hell of a match. We all wanted it to go longer. Great, really great women's action." SmackDown opened up from the Royal Farms Arena in Baltimore. Tom Phillips welcomed us. He joined in with Corey Graves and Byron Saxton. I caught the show about 15 minutes into it, so I missed the first segment. We go right to the ring. Out comes SmackDown General Manager Paige as the announcer type tonight's Money in the Bank qualifying matches. Paige welcomes us and calls Backlash the first co-branded pay-per-view, a smashing success. Paige talks about some of the blue brand matches from Backlash and says the no DQ match between Shinsuke Nakamura and WWE Champion AJ Styles was on its way to being a classic until they had a low blow confrontation, which no one can recover from. She says that she didn't think of this when she first added the no disqualification stipulation, but we will hear from the most superstars later on. She plugs the men's and women's Money in the Bank ladder matches for the June pay-per-view. Paige says she needs the best SmackDown has to offer, so the briefcases can be brought back to this brand. We see the Money in the Bank briefcase hanging high above the ring as Paige calls for the first of 3 qualifying matches to be held tonight. Qualifying match number 1, U.S. Champion Jeff Hardy versus Miz. Something actually can be found here at this link. Miz hits, out comes Jeff Hardy for this non-title match. Miz is out next as Greg Hamilton does the ring introductions. The bell rings and Miz looks up at the briefcase as Hardy rallies fans. They lock up. Hardy drops Miz with a shoulder. They lock up again, trade holds. Hardy fights out of the hold and drops Miz with another shoulder. Hardy splashes Miz for a 2 count. Jeff beats on Miz and sends him out to the floor. Jeff runs around the ring and leaps off the steel steps, sending Miz into the barrier. Hardy brings Miz back in the ring, goes up to the top. Miz retreats back to the opposite corner, and Jeff looks on from up high. We go to commercial. More back and forth after the break. Miz drives a knee into Hardy's shin and drops him to the mat for a 2 count. Miz keeps Hardy grounded as the fans chant his name. Hardy gets up and out, but Miz nails a neckbreaker combo for a close pin attempt. Miz ends up going for the skull-crushing finale, but it's blocked. Miz sends Hardy to the floor, comes right after him. Miz crouches Hardy on the top of the barrier. Miz wastes some time on the outside. Jeff leaps from the top of the barrier and takes Miz down on the floor. Referee counts that both guys are down on the floor. Hardy brings it back in the ring at 7 count, and they trade shots. Hardy with offense, including an inverted atomic drop and other signature moves. Hardy with a 2 count. They tangle again, but Jeff nails a twist of fate. Jeff goes to the top for the swanton, but Miz rolls to the apron, and Jeff comes back down. Miz kicks Hardy on the apron and hits a neck breaker, driving Jeff's neck down on the edge of the apron. Jeff gets pulled to the floor as we go to commercial. Back from the break. Hardy breaks free to rock Miz. They trade shots from the knees in the middle of the ring. They fight to the feet. Hardy unloads. Hardy ducks a shot and hits a side Russian leg sweep. Hardy rolls Miz up for a close 2 count. Miz with a cheap shot as the referee was distracted with Hardy. Miz goes for the sleeper, but it's broken. Hardy ends up going to the top and hitting the Whisperer and win for a 2 count. Miz blocked the twist of fate after some back and forth action. Hardy dropped Miz over the top rope on the apron. Hardy charged and kicked Miz out to the floor. Hardy launched himself over the top to take Miz down again. Jeff brings it back into the ring. Goes up top as the fans pop. Miz jumps up. Crunches Hardy on the top rope. Miz climbs up for the superplex, but Hardy resists. Hardy fights back. Hits a sunset flip powerbomb for a 2 count. Fan chant, this is awesome. Now Miz blocks a Hardy-ack arrest in the corner. Miz blocks the twist of fate again. But Hardy blocks the skull-crushing finale, and Miz rolls him up for a 2 count. Hardy launches Miz into the corner and hits a Hardy-ack arrest this time. Hardy finally hits a twist of fate and goes back to the top. Hardy hits a swanton and covers, but Miz kicks out just in time and backslides Hardy over for the win. Out of nowhere. Miz is going into the Money in the Bank ladder match. After the match, Miz goes right to the floor, sits up against the barrier to recover. Hardy sits up in the corner and looks disappointed as we go to replays. Miz stands tall at ringside as his music plays and the referee raises his arm. Sheamus is backstage eating Lucky Charms out of the bag. Cesaro asks him why he's doing that. Sheamus says, it's the only thing that will make him feel better after losing to Xavier Woods last week. Cesaro thought he had him. Sheamus says he would have won if it wasn't for Kobe Kingston and Big E. Cesaro says he tried to help, but pretty much says he could have defeated Woods. Sheamus proposes Cesaro versus Woods tonight. Cesaro says that's a great idea because no one will disrespect the bar twice in a row. Cesaro opens his gear bag and it's full of pancakes. Sheamus laughs at him. Sheamus opens his bag and it's also full of pancakes. They get mad and flip out to end the segment. Still to come, Rusev versus Daniel Bryan and Charlotte versus Peyton Royce in Money in the Bank qualifying match and back to commercial. Back from the break, we get a new coming soon promo for Sanity. We get a look at the Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles match from Backlash. Renee backstage outside of Nakamura's locker room door waiting for him to come out. Renee says Nakamura has not been cleared to compete due to the grueling Backlash match. She asks if the situation with AJ is over, and he says, no English. Renee says, we all know he speaks English. Nakamura says, this is right, but he forgot how to speak English, so for now, no English. Renee asks about AJ again. Nakamura says AJ is nuts, but so is he. Nakamura says they are not finished. He turns and walks back into his locker room. Tom says AJ will speak later on. And that can be seen in this link. Announcers give us a look back at Carmella's win over Charlotte at Backlash. We cut to a backstage video recorded by Carmella. The SmackDown Women's Champion brags on beating Flair and says it's now time to party, but not in a boring city like Baltimore. Carmella says she's going to London to throw a royal celebration next Tuesday. She says to forget the royal wedding and Prince Harry can stop blowing her phone up because the royal family is not invited. She says WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair is also not invited and asks if we knew that he had a daughter. That her name is Charlotte Flair. It's Charlotte Flair and that Carmella beat her. She laughs some more during the segment. Money in the Bank qualifying match, women's match, Charlotte versus Peyton. At this link. We're going to ring out comes Charlotte for this next Money in the Bank qualifying match by the commercial. Back from the break, we get pre-recorded backstage videos from Ty Dillinger and Naomi with comments on Money in the Bank. We go to the ring, and Flair is standing under the briefcase. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce are out next with microphones. They apologize for Flair's loss at Backlash, but say she's still an inspiration. They tell a story of a boy in Australia who had a stutter problem until he laughed for an hour at Flair's facial expression following the loss. Fell off the couch and his stutter was cured. The Iconics continued mocking Flair and the look on her face after she lost to Carmella. Billie says the Money in the Bank contract belongs to the future, and Peyton says the future is iconic. To end the segment, Flair tells Peyton to bring it and makes her way to the ring. And while they were on the stage, they were showing a picture of Charlotte's face at after the match at Backlash. Bell rings and they lock up, going to the corner. Flair swings it as the referee backs her off. Flair ducks the clothesline and slams Peyton to the mat. Flair with another big takedown from behind. Peyton fights her off with an elbow, but Flair catches a kick and drops her again with a chop to the chest. Flair launches the Peyton over her head and stands tall. Flair tosses Peyton to the floor in front of Billie. Back to commercial. Back from the break, Peyton brings Flair back into the ring after sending her into the steel ring post on the outside. Peyton kept Flair grounded in the middle of the ring. Flair looked to turn around, but Peyton launched her into the ropes and she landed hard. Flair looked to be out as Peyton covered for a 2 count. Peyton showed some frustration as she takes Flair to the corner and puts a long boot to the throat as the referee counts. Flair finally gets an opening and unloads on Peyton, mocking her with chops as fans count along with the rouge and what have you. Flair drops Peyton and shuts a bit. Peyton charges, but Flair drops her with another chop. More back and forth. Flair rolls Peyton up for a 2 count. Flair with a big belly to back suplex and then kip up. Peyton goes to the floor for an assist from Kay, but Flair launches herself over the top and takes out Kay. Peyton with a neckbreaker on Flair as the referee counts. Peyton brings it back into the ring for a close 2 count. Billie ends up with a cheap shot that the referee didn't see, allowing Peyton to drop Flair for another 2 count. Peyton goes for the knee, but Flair avoided it and rolled her up for a 2 count. Flair ended up dropping Peyton with a big boot. Coming out of the corner, Flair goes up top for the moonsault, but Peyton got her knees up. Flair clutched her knee, and Peyton covers her up for a 2 count. Peyton with a knee for another close 2 count. Peyton goes for another move, but Flair countered and hit the big spear in the middle of the ring for a 2 count for herself. Peyton rolled Flair up again. Flair will roll up a roll. Flair then fly to figure 4, bridged into the figure 8 for the tap out. Win and advances in Money in the Bank. After the match, Flair looked up at the briefcase as the music hits. Referee raises her arm as we go to replays. We get a look at Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass from Backlash. Dasha from backstage with Bryan asking about tonight's Money in the Bank qualifier with Rusev. Bryan says that the stakes are high tonight and they will fight. Bryan says Cass did attack him at Backlash, but he did it because Bryan made Cass tap out. Bryan recalls catching in on Big Show in Baltimore a few years back to become champion. He has a history of defying expectations, and tonight will be no different. He will fight. He will find a way, and he will prove that the bigger they are, the harder they come down. Bryan thanks Dasha and goes back to warming up. Still to come segment, Cesaro versus Xavier. Back to commercial. Back for the break, we get backstage videos recorded by Shelton, Benjamin, and Oscar with comments on Money in the Bank. Xavier Woods and Cesaro. Action can be found in this link. We go to the ring, and out first comes a New Day, Xavier Woods, and Kofi, and Big E. Marvel's out next, Cesaro and Sheamus. Bell rings and lock up and trade holds. Cesaro takes Woods down first, talks some trash. Fans chant, "We want pancakes," as Big E and Kofi start tossing them to the crowd. Cesaro goes after Woods, and they lock up. Cesaro drops Woods with a shoulder off the ropes. Cesaro wastes some time, and they run the ropes again. Cesaro catches Woods in midair, but Woods counters. They run again, and Woods took Cesaro down with a scissor hold. Woods took Cesaro to the corner and worked him over. By the way, I caught the match caught the SmackDown after the first match. Cesaro goes for a cheap shot again against Rhodes, but it's blocked. Woods fought back, gets shot from behind. He puts on the brakes to avoid running into the referee. Cesaro with a gut-wrench suplex. Cesaro stands tall as we go to commercial. Back to the ring. Woods fights out of a hole. Woods makes come back with offense, including a few kicks. Woods drops Cesaro for a 2 count. As Sheamus looks on worried. Fans rally for New Day now. Cesaro drops Woods over the middle rope, but Woods comes right back with a counter. Woods runs the ropes and trade counters before Woods drives Cesaro face first into the mat for a 2 count. Sheamus gets on the apron, yells at the referee. Cesaro tries to take advantage of the distraction, but Kofi is there to provide an assist. More back and forth. Woods with a Shining Wizard. As Sheamus is arguing with the referee. Sheamus gets on the apron, but Big E throws pancakes at him. Woods goes up top. Sheamus jumps off the apron, but Big E moves out of the way. Kofi ends up leaping off the apron to drop Sheamus on the floor. Woods leaps from the top, but Cesaro catches him in midair with a big uppercut for the pinfall. Where he got busted open there. After the match, Bar celebrated as their music hits. Sheamus picks Cesaro up to celebrate as Kofi and Big E check on Woods in the ring. We're going to replay to come back to Woods recovering in the ring as the Bar looks on from the stage. Renee's backstage with AJ Styles, who is also not cleared due to backlash match with the low blows with Shinsuke Nakamura. Renee says Nakamura already said he's not done with AJ. He cuts her off and admits he stooped to Nakamura's level, but he doesn't want to fight like that. But he will if he has to, and especially if the title is on the line. AJ agrees that they are not done and says he doesn't care where it is or why. If Nakamura has the guts, he hesitated, I almost said nuts, to step back into the ring with him, AJ will finish him. Nakamura may be the king of low blows, but this is the house that AJ Styles built. As AJ walked off. And that can be seen that later. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville are shown backstage as is Becky Lynch. Back to commercial. Back from the commercial, we see several action figures of SmackDown tag teams laying around. SmackDown tag team champions the Bludgeon Brothers appear, wanting people to come play with them and their toys. They are waiting. Harper and Rowan in the segment by swinging their mallets at the figures. And that can be seen in this nightly. I guess I got up to go to the bathroom, got up to go get a drink, but I missed that boring segment. Becky Lynch versus Mandy Rose can be found at this link. We got to ring out first comes Becky Lynch. We see Mandy and Sonya backstage talking about how this is a new start. Paige was right last week, and they both can be in Money in the Bank. Paige appears and asks if Deville thinks she's going to the ring, reminding them that Absolution is dead. They say Paige isn't their mom, and while Paige abandoned them for this cushy office job, they will never abandon each other. Paige bans Deville from ringside and walks off. They aren't happy, but Rose heads to the ring as Becky waits. Rose comes out with her own theme as we get the bell. Back and forth to start the match. Rose does a drop kick and stalks Becky some. Rose floors Becky again with a quick pin attempt. Rose keeps Becky grounded and ragdolls her some on the mat. Becky tries to fight up and out, but Rose hands her back to the mat and talks some trash. Becky gets up, fights back, unloading on Rose with strikes. Becky with an uppercut. Becky goes for a disarmer, but Rose escapes. Becky then nails the exploder suplex. Becky with a big right hand in the corner. Rose countered a springboard kick and ends up rolling Becky up for a surprise win. After the match, Rose hits the floor and stands tall and we go to replays. Rose heads to the back as Becky looks on. We get a look back at Daniel Bryan cashing in his Money in the Bank contract at WWE TLC in 2011, defeating Big Show to become the World Heavyweight Champion. Money in the Bank qualifying match, Daniel Bryan versus Rusev, can be found at this link, and that is your main event. We go to the ring for tonight's main event. Out comes Daniel Bryan to a big pop and a yes chant. Orgasms. Bryan hits the corner as we go to commercial. Back from the ring. Back from the break, and they announced for next week's SmackDown in London is the debut of Andre Cien Almas and Zelina Vega. Carmella's Royal Celebration and a Money in the Bank qualifier with a New Day versus the Bar. The winning team will get to select one member to be in the ladder match. Back to the ring, out comes Aiden English to sing and rap the introduction for Rusev. Rusev hits the ring as Bryan looks on. Bell rings and we see the briefcase hanging high. They lock up for a test of strength and trade holds as fans do dueling chance for both. Rusev drops Bryan with a shoulder. They run the ropes and Bryan takes Rusev down by his leg. Dueling chants are started by going for the crowd. Bryan tries to get the surfboard submission but stomps on Rusev's knees. Bryan with more offense, backing Rusev into the corner with kicks. Rusev counters the moves and slams Bryan. Rusev keeps Bryan down with kicks. Rusev charges, but Bryan pulls the top rope down, and Rusev lands on the floor. Bryan runs the ropes and nails the suicide dive, but Rusev catches him and launches him over the announce table. Bryan is down. We go to commercial. Back from the break, Rusev remains in control. Rusev works Bryan over in the corner as the referee warns him. Rusev whips Bryan in the corner, but Bryan counters and lands on his feet. Bryan runs the ropes and takes Rusev down with a knee. Fans try to rally for Bryan now as he waits for Rusev to get up in the corner. Bryan with a pair of corner drop kicks. Bryan kicks Rusev, takes him to the top for Hurricane, nailing it. Bryan gets hyped up as he awaits in the corner now. Bryan with orgasm yes kicks while Rusev is on his knees. Rusev ducks a kick and goes to set up the accolade. Rusev catches the crossbody, but Bryan ends up rolling him up for a 2 count. Rusev with a huge kick to the neck for a 2 count. As English looks on, fans do dueling chants again as Rusev stands tall and calls for the finish. Rusev stomps on Bryan's back and goes for the accolade, but his wrist gives out again due to Bryan working on it earlier. Bryan counters the accolade and rolls Rusev into the yes lock. Rusev grabs the bottom rope and breaks a hold. They get up and trade shots, but Bryan unloads with kicks. Rusev stuns Bryan with a kick. Rusev launches Bryan over his head, but Bryan lands on his feet. Bryan stuns Rusev with a kick and brings him down face first. Bryan leads to the yes chance again, but English pulls Rusev out to safety. Bryan charges and kicks both of them through the ropes. Bryan leaps from the apron and takes Rusev down on the floor with double knees. Bryan brings him back in the ring and goes up top for the missile drop kick. Bryan clutches his ribs, but still kips up as the fans pop. Bryan waits in the corner as the yes chant start back up. Bryan charges, but Rusev lifts him in midair and drops his ribs onto a knee. Rusev with the macho kick for the win. Surprise win and Money in the Bank spot. After the match, English enters the ring to celebrate when Rusev as the music hits. Bryant's still down on the mat as we go to replays. Rusev and English head up the ramp and talk some trash. Back at the ring, Bryan lays on the apron and looks disappointed. Rusev Day looks back at the ring and laughs at Bryan as he sits up. We see Money in the Bank briefcase hanging high in the background as Bryan holds his ribs on the apron. And SmackDown goes off the air. 205 Live starts off with Big Joseph, Nigel McGuinness, and Percy Watson welcome us to the show. First matchup, we got Grand Metalik and Lince Dorado versus Brian Kendrick and Lince Dorado. Huh? I think that's misprint. I'm reading it. At TD Wrestling, a total diva steps from a man with a plan to the man with the plan to make 205 Live better. At Drew Gulak. And can be found that link there for you. Before the match gets going, out comes Drew Gulak. So it's Drew Gulak. Brian Kendrick and Drew Gulak, I guess. He shakes a fan's hand and immediately wipes his hand off on his suit. Gulak heads to commentary and does shake Joseph's hand. Ha! He then calls Lince Dorito. This guy is on fire as got her and Dorado get it started. was Gallagher and Brian Kendrick. Rollins rolling pins around the ring to start off. Dorado with a plank-like pin attempt to Gallagher. Kendrick is in and immediately is out to the floor. Metallic with a big flip over the top rope. Has a landing though. And the action can be found in that link. Action back in the ring. Kendrick with a boot to the head. Gallagher back in now. Goes to work on Metallic's limb for a bit. He brings Kendrick back in and stomps away at Metallic. He finally is able to get a tag into Dorado. Springboard crossbody, hurricane, drop kick, handspring stutter, cover, and it's broken up by Gallagher. Kendrick tags in Gallagher and hits a running drop kick, slice spread by Kendrick. Cover, Metallic breaks it up this time. Stereo super kicks and suicide dives by the Lucha House Party. Gallagher thrown back in the ring. Dorado with a shooting star press for the win. Recorded earlier, on the railroad track, Mustafa Ali hypes his match tonight against Buddy Murphy. He says tonight is about clearing the way. Move or I'll make you. Backstage, Buddy Murphy talks with Tony Nese, who wishes him good luck. Dr. Fuentes heads in and asks Murphy about tonight's match. Murphy says he has one blemish on his record in 205 Live, and that's his loss to Ali. He says he just hopes the champ is watching. Tony Nese versus Keith Clayball. Nese immediately goes to work with chops and kicks that send Clayball right to the mat. He taunts and kicks away at his opponent, puts him in the tree of woe position, and kicks him a bit more while doing some crunches. Nese runs over Clayball, trips him from the apron to the floor, hits a running forearm. Action back in the ring, lines him up and hits a running knee for the 1-2-3. Victory for Itami as we get a number of people hyping him. Triple H, Big E, and Paige. Itami says he didn't like teaming up with Tozawa and didn't think he needed a partner. We see the miscommunication from last week's match when Itami was thrown into the ropes and Tozawa fell off the ropes, causing a loss for the team. Itami shoved him to the mat afterwards. Backstage segment, Drake Maverick talks with Cedric Alexander and wants to make sure Alexander isn't going to get involved in any way with tonight's main event. Alexander reassured him he would hang in the back tonight. Maverick said next week the cruiserweights will be mixing it up with some of the WWE UK talents. Buddy Murphy versus Mustafa Ali. Ali landing a couple of chops early on, but it seems to just anger Murphy. He tries for a powerbomb, but Ali sends him to the floor. 2 drop kicks, Ali over the top rope and lands on his feet. Murphy with a running suplex on the floor. Ouch! Both back in the ring. Murphy tries for a pin, only gets a 2. Also noted, this week's SmackDown saw The Miz qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match by defeating U.S. champion Jeff Hardy in a non-title match. Also, a video of Miz ranting to Dr. Fuentes about his past Money in the Bank success. Miz says the contract will lead him back to the main event of WrestleMania just like it did before. It will be awesome. The dark main event after tonight's 205 Live in Baltimore saw AJ Styles retain over Shinsuke Nakamura after they wasn't cleared to wrestle. Styles and Nakamura appeared in backstage segments on this week SmackDown, but it was noted they were not cleared to wrestle due to the brutal no DQ match at Backlash and the double low blow finish. SmackDown also saw Mandy Rose pick up an upset win over Becky Lynch, her first singles match since coming to the Blue Brand. The match came after SmackDown General Manager Paige banned the Bill from ringside. And a post-show reaction from Mandy and DeVille's reaction to being banned by the former Absolution leader at WWE_Mandy Rose. And that's how you debut on hashtag SmackDown Live. Hashtag remember the name. Hashtag Mandy Rose. Hashtag God's greatest creation. At Sonya Deville, WWE. Honestly, this is ridiculous. We went back to 205 Live. At WWE 205 Live. That third, though, WWE Murphy just changed the landscape of this match at 205 Live at this link. Murphy getting plenty of offense, tries for a crossbody, but Ali has at the same time the same idea. Both collide. Ali with a running chop, rolling facebuster attempt, no sleeper submission by both wrestlers. Murphy hits a cannonball into the corner to get Ali off of his back, and that can be found in this link. comment. It's my Total Diva Sets. Also, ow, at WWE 205 Live. Oh my God. Hashtag 205 Live at Mustafa Ali. That can be found at this link. Multiple forearms by Ali. Murphy with a combo of attacks ends up on the apron, and Ali hits a sick-looking DDT, cover 2 count. Murphy gets up on the top rope. Murphy drops his opponent to the mat, swings his knee right into Ali's face. Murphy with his own amazing DDT, cover 2 count. Alexander looking on from the back. Murphy lands 3 power bombs in a row, and the referee is checking on Ali. That can be found in this link. Total Diva Set says, few are innovative as at Mustafa Ali WWE. Back to action. Murphy tries for another. Ali with a face puncher counter, cover for a 2 count. Murphy put on the top rope. Ali heads up top and gets shoved off to the floor. He flips and lands on his feet. Murphy tries to drop down and gets a super kick to the face. Back inside the ring, Ali tries for a 450 splash off the top rope. Murphy double knees on Ali's arm. Starts to really focus on it. Ali looks for a tornado DDT, gets caught in midair, and is sent shoulder first into the ring post. Murphy hits Murphy's Law for the 3 count. What a match! And Total Diva Set says that WWE_Murphy caps another sensational 205 Live main event with Murphy's Law. We found it this link. And winner of the match, Buddy Murphy by pinfall. And that concludes my 205 Live and SmackDown results. Thanks again. Peace out. See you on via. If you don't know, just call me, brothers and sisters. See you on via.